The Kraken didn't sink the cargo ship because he was hungry. He sank it because the engine vibrations were keeping him awake. This is him. 8 weeks ago. Right now, I'm going to tell you something that nobody who works in marine containment wants to say out loud. The ocean isn't afraid of us. It never was. Today, 4 sea creatures, all starting small enough to fit in a tank, all ending somewhere that will make you reconsider every boat trip you've ever taken. One of them is currently living under a major international bridge. Every ship in the Northern Hemisphere has had to reroute. That's not even the part that concerns the authorities most. And that thing about the cargo ship, we'll get there. So let's meet them. All 4. First, baby Kraken. Right now, he fits in a reinforced tank. Translucent skin, faint bioluminescent veins, pulsing blue. 8 thin tentacles, no thicker than my fingers. He wraps one around my wrist when I get close. Curious, gentle, almost affectionate. Here's what I didn't understand at first. He doesn't follow light. He follows vibration. Because in the deep ocean, sound travels farther than sight. The first time I played music near his tank, every tentacle locked onto the speaker simultaneously. The tank flexed. Not cracked, flexed. I turned it off. He relaxed. That's when I understood. He doesn't grow by eating. He grows by signal. And the ocean is one endless signal. Next, baby Hydra. She starts with 2 heads, both small, both fitting in one hand, both looking at you from different angles at the same time, which is already unsettling. The problem reveals itself at week 3. Every time she molts, a new head grows. Week 3, 3 heads. Week 5, 4 heads. Week 8, I can no longer feed her without an incident protocol. Each head has a completely independent personality. One is curious, one is aggressive, one, I am convinced, is planning something. I don't know what, but it's planning. After that, baby Leviathan. He looks like a thin ribbon of silver, barely visible. He can slip through a gap, the width of a pencil. That seems harmless. It isn't. At week 2, he found the maintenance pipes that connect my facility to the municipal water system. I discovered this when my neighbor called to ask why her tap water tasted different. It tasted like deep ocean. The city sent a team. We don't discuss what they found. And finally, baby Siren. Not the mythology version, the real version. No singing. What she does instead is emit low-frequency vibrations, precise ones, targeted ones. On day 4, she shattered the tempered glass panel on the east wall of her tank. She was looking at the wall. Then she wasn't looking at the wall. Then the wall was gone. I upgraded to military-grade acoustic containment. She found the resonance frequency of that too. I built them a shared deep water facility, pressurized tanks, acoustic dampeners, vibration isolation mounts, separate feeding systems. Let's see if they get along. For the first few weeks, manageable. The Kraken stayed near the bottom, rearranging the sand constantly, building patterns, then dismantling them, then building different ones. The Hydra established a clear feeding hierarchy between her heads. The Leviathan explored every pipe and seal in the facility with systematic precision. The Siren sat completely still at the center of her tank, always watching, always calculating. Then, on day 22, things started to shift. The Kraken got bored. I know that sounds like an anthropomorphism. It isn't. There is a measurable behavioral state in cephalopods that corresponds to understimulation, and the Kraken hit it at day 22. He began testing the oxygen pumps. Not aggressively, methodically. He'd disconnect one, watch the effect, reconnect it, then disconnect a different one. He was running experiments. We installed locks on all the pumps. He figured out the locks in 6 hours. The Hydra's incident was more direct. A maintenance diver experienced, certified, careful, was doing a routine check of the lower tank seals. The Hydra's fourth head, the one I'd been watching, made contact with his shoulder through the containment mesh. Contact only, not a bite. He was paralyzed from the shoulder down for 2 months. The toxin analysis took 3 weeks. The compound they found had no classification in any existing medical database. They created a new one. The diver came back to work. He requested permanent reassignment to surface operations. The Leviathan's escalation was invisible until it wasn't. He had been mapping the city's entire underground infrastructure for 6 weeks. Water pipes, gas lines, fiber optic cables, subway tunnels, all of it. Moving through it silently, leaving no trace, learning the layout. The first sign, something was wrong. An unexplained pressure drop in the municipal water system, affecting a 40-block radius. The second sign, a subway line, shut down for 3 days due to unexplained interference with rail sensors. The third sign, a 12-block area of the city, lost internet connectivity for 11 hours. No fault found in the cables. They were intact. Something had been wrapping around them. The city still doesn't officially know what caused any of it. The siren progressed differently. She didn't damage anything directly. Instead, she started broadcasting. We didn't know she was doing it. The frequencies were below human hearing. But at week 6, we started receiving calls from coastal research stations up to 200 kilometers away. Animals behaving strangely. Whale pods changing migration patterns. Fish populations moving away from their usual zones. She was calling something. We still don't know what answered. Then, I made the decision. The facility was no longer viable. I needed to move them. Kraken, deep-sea research platform 400 meters down, acoustic isolation, no engine running within 3 kilometers. He adapted immediately. Within 48 hours, he had dismantled and rebuilt every non-essential piece of equipment on the platform. The researchers described him as reorganizing. Hydra, private containment island. Medical team on permanent standby, each head studied separately through reinforced observation glass. By month 2, she had 8 heads. Each one had developed what the behavioral biologists called distinct problem-solving styles. The aggressive one had started cooperating with the planning one. That was new. Leviathan, released into a sealed harbor, entire local infrastructure wrapped in signal-blocking material, all pipes capped. He found a gap in the signal blocking within 72 hours. The harbor authority described it as an infrastructure audit we didn't commission, but probably needed. Siren, offshore deep water platform, acoustic dampening on all sides, no marine life within 50 kilometers. She kept broadcasting. The broadcasts got stronger. 3 months after placement, a research vessel reported a contact on sonar. Something large, something that had been following her broadcasts, something that had come from very far away. And then all 4 of them kept growing, and the facilities started to become suggestions rather than constraints. We had to let them go. The Kraken was released first, into a deep water trench, 2,000 meters down, far from shipping lanes. 3 weeks of quiet. Then the incident started. A cargo ship in the North Atlantic reported engine failure. All systems intact. Engines simply stopped. The crew described something wrapping around the hull, not aggressively, just resting there, using the engine vibrations as a signal. When the engines stopped, the contact released, and the ship drifted free. The Kraken wasn't attacking ships. He was using them as sensory equipment. Every engine in the ocean, every propeller, every sonar system, To him, that's not noise, that's navigation. That's the entire map of the world. The shipping industry has spent 14 months trying to understand why their vessels keep stopping in the middle of the North Atlantic. They haven't found the answer yet. The Hydra moved into the deep Mediterranean. The head count, at last, confirmed sighting. Unknown. The researchers who attempted the count disagreed on the number. The last confirmed report came from a Greek fishing vessel. The crew described a creature with too many heads to count, surfacing briefly at dusk, examining their boat with what one fisherman described as genuine curiosity from most of them. Most of them is doing a lot of work in that sentence. The Leviathan found the bridge, not by accident, deliberately. He had been mapping global infrastructure for months, identifying the single point of maximum impact, the location where his presence would affect the most traffic, the most supply chains, the most human systems simultaneously. He chose the Pont de Normandie, the bridge connecting Le Havre to Honfleur, through which passes a significant percentage of northern European maritime traffic. He didn't damage it. He simply wrapped around the central support columns and stayed there. Ships cannot pass safely with something of unknown length and unknown capability resting on the structural supports of the bridge they need to pass under. The port of Le Havre, one of the largest in Europe, has been operating at 15% capacity for 4 months. Insurance companies have created a new category. The Leviathan shows no signs of leaving. Structural surveys suggest the bridge is, if anything, slightly more stable than before he arrived. Nobody knows what to do about that. And the siren. The siren swam toward whatever had been answering her broadcasts. We tracked her for 6 weeks, east across the Atlantic, then south, then the signal went deep and disappeared. 2 months later, reports started coming in from multiple ocean monitoring stations. A change in the background frequency of the deep ocean. A new signal, constant, spreading. Marine biologists describe it as a previously unrecorded layer of ocean communication. Nobody knows what it's saying. Nobody has found a way to listen. I started this to answer a simple question. What happens if you raise sea monsters? The answer is, you can, for about 8 weeks. After that, you're not raising them anymore. You're watching them remember what they are. That cargo ship from the opening? The Kraken didn't sink it out of aggression. The engine was running at a frequency that interfered with his navigation. He stopped it the only way available to him. To him, it was practical. To the shipping company, it was a $400 million loss. Those are 2 very different problems with no overlap. The 4 of them are out there now. The Kraken turning cargo ships into signal receivers across the North Atlantic. The Hydra in the Mediterranean, examining fishing boats with 8 independent sets of eyes. The Leviathan holding a European bridge hostage by simply existing. The siren somewhere in the deep ocean, broadcasting something to something that came from somewhere we haven't mapped yet. I don't know if any of them remember the tanks. I don't know if they ever thought of themselves as contained. But sometimes, in the footage from the shared facility, the Kraken and the siren. 30 minutes of the Kraken pulsing his bioluminescence in a slow rhythm. The siren vibrating at a matching frequency. They were talking to each other. We just didn't have the equipment to hear what they said. Maybe they were always going to end up here. Maybe the ocean was waiting for them to come home. If you want to see what happens when I try this on land, 4 mythical flying creatures, 1 aviary, 1 very bad decision involving a free flight session, that video is on screen right now. I'll warn you in advance. The Auroch did not stay in the valley.